Madness with the scent of potpourri. Films we commit to memory. Crossing the felt ropes. Watching from home on my TV. Looking at all my eyes can see. They tell me I view obsessively.
Hello and welcome to The Obsessive Viewer, a weekly podcast reviewing 2 new or recent release titles every episode with an occasional free-for-all segment at the end that we call Potpourri. I'm your host, Matt Hurt, and you can find more of my work, including my written reviews, full episode show notes, and the complete backlog of our episodes and spin-off podcasts at obsessiveviewer.com. You can also follow me on Letterboxd and other social media platforms at the username of Obsessive Viewer. And let's see. And if you want to, sorry, I was adjusting the levels. And if you'd like to support us and get access to hundreds of exclusive episodes, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer. Over there, you can join at any of the three tiers that we have there. Those are at $5, $7, or $10, whatever you're comfortable joining at. You get access to everything. I have been hitting the ground running for 6 consecutive weeks now with my Back Half Blind Spots series, which is the series in which after I turned 40 in June, I decided that, I'm going to watch as many of the movies that I've missed over the last 40 years and watch them until I die. So my Back Half Blind Spots, I basically review 2 movies from a master list of almost 4,000 movies that I either haven't seen or saw long enough ago that I never rated them on Letterboxd. And it's been a blast. I'm at 6 episodes so far. I also include micro reviews in the middle portion of it. So recently, last week, I reviewed On the Waterfront and Sorcerer, 2 movies I had never seen before, both really, really good. On the Waterfront kind of just blew me away, and Sorcerer was great, even though I do prefer The Wages of Fear over it. And then this week, I reviewed David Lean's Brief Encounter and Billy Wilder's The Apartment, which one of those movies I rated 5 stars. And if you want to know which one, sign up on Patreon and listen to the episode or go to my Letterboxd. But anyway, so I'm doing that. That's over at Patreon, patreon.com/obsessiveviewer. You can sign up there for that and a bunch of other content. So yeah, later in the show, we're going to be reviewing Apple TV's The Dink in a secondary review. But before that, we're going to go over some movie news and Indianapolis screenings before reviewing the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Almost forgot the title. In this week's feature review. And joining me this week are not 1, but 2 of my friends and IFJ colleagues who can be followed on Letterboxd at the handles of Dandible and Awake in the Dark, respectively, and whose work can be found at oddtrilogies.com and awakeinthedark.com, again, respectively. It's Andy Carr and Brent Leuthold. Welcome back to the show, guys. How is it going, gentlemen?
Brent's webbing it up.
Nice.
I'm happy to be here. It's been a while since I've been on.
It has been a while. This is officially the intervention that I'm having for you. I have a letter that talks about the pain that I have that you haven't been on the show.
Oh, good. I haven't seen either of these movies, so that's great. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we've got to fill time. Yeah, but yeah, how's it been, Andy and Brent? You've been on several times this year, and several more times to come, I'm sure. So, yeah, how's it going? And Brent, could you coach Andy on how to be a better guest on the Obsessive Viewer podcast?
A more obsessive viewer.
Yes.
A better, more patient obsessive viewer.
Yes.
I'm still figuring it out myself. You know, you just kind of do your best. But no, happy to be back. It's always fun.
Nice. And yeah, Andy, I believe the last episode you were on, yes, you were on the New Year's Eve episode, the IFJ 10 Best Films of 2025 with your co-host Logan from Odd Trilogies.
Yeah. I have a bad habit of kind of clustering my appearances on here. I'll find myself with 2 or 3 weeks in a row where I'm like, ooh, I could do this. I could do that.
Oh, that's fine.
And then nobody hears from me.
Yeah. Well, it's fine. You have a life, I'm sure. Unlike me and Brent.
Yeah, I'm just here in my studio all the time.
Yeah.
waiting by a phone and computer. Yeah.
But what you guys do have as well as lives, that's a bad transition, but you also have work that you've done on the internet reviewing movies. So, Andy, of course, you have oddtrilogies.com, the Odd Trilogies podcast. I've been a guest twice this year now. And recently on the Odd Trilogies podcast, which you host with Logan, you did Saving Matt Damon trilogy, the Rise of Nolan trilogy with me, and the Broly trilogy. Do you mind taking a moment and talking about those 3 trilogies?
Yeah. So the Broly trilogy, that's a Dragon Ball Z trilogy. So deep weeb shit. Logan and I both grew up watching Dragon Ball and consuming all things Dragon Ball. And so it was kind of that one actually was kind of a fill-in because we were going to do a different trilogy. And then the 3rd movie in that trilogy did not release when we thought it was going to release. So we bumped that and filled it in with that. And those movies aren't great, but Broly is an iconic character in the franchise because he's only ever appeared in movies, never in the actual series. So people are always like itching to see him. And then July saw kind of a sort of a 2-part road to the Odyssey to the Odyssey, if you will, in The Rise of Nolan. And Saving Matt Damon. Rise of Nolan was really cool. I had seen Memento, but I had not seen Following or Insomnia. Neither of those, other than Memento, are top tier Nolan flicks, but they were an interesting exploration of, kind of a time before he was the household name director kind of. And then, Saving Matt Damon was really fun. We had Joe Shearer on for that. And that one was fun because it was kind of a gag premise, in a sense. All 3 films being about basically a Matt Damon character being brought home from far off peril and to varying degrees. And so it was kind of fun to talk about him and his career and the different evolutions and stages he's had throughout his career, of course, leading into perhaps his, maybe his biggest leading role of all time in a sense with the Odyssey. So
spoken like a true man who has not seen, oh God, I can't remember the name of the movie. Stuck Together or whatever it is. Was it him?
Stuck on You, yeah.
Stuck on You, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Greg Kinnear, yeah. It's a co-lead, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Yeah, obviously you can check out Odd Trilogies at oddtrilogies.com and anywhere podcasts are sold. Great show. I really enjoy it, and I'm honored that I have been able to guest twice this year. Yeah. So really fun stuff. And Brent, over at awakenthedark.com, you have been reviewing movies, obviously. You did Spider-Man Brand New Day, which we'll talk about soon, but you also did reviews of Her Private Hell, The Odyssey, and Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass. How is it going over at awakenthedark.com?
Yeah, going great. Yeah, still doing the weekly thing. We'll talk about Spider-Man. Her Private Hell was about-ish what I expected from Nicholas Winding Refn, and he's pretty much set on what he's going to be doing. I think from here on in terms of I think the kind of movie that he's going to be doing. But I did love the musical score a lot with that movie. But other than that, it's kind of just good looking nonsense. Welcome
to the Obsessive Viewer podcast.
There you go. And Guild Autry, it was definitely good to see a David Wayne movie in theaters. And I would like to catch Wet Hot this month whenever it's going to be out. I don't know which dates, but that would be cool.
I want to say it's like in the next week or a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's sometime this month. I don't know exactly when. But I would like to catch that. Yeah,
me too.
That would be wild to see that in a theater because I had never seen that. I'm trying to think which David Wayne movies I had seen in it, like Role Models. I think I had probably seen in a theater, but I'm trying to think beyond that. But
I honestly don't know if I don't know if I've ever seen a David Wayne movie in the theater.
I don't think I have either.
Because like they came together, I didn't see when it when it came out.
Same.
I don't know. Yeah, I think most of his stuff. I've mainly just kind of seen it home. So that was kind of a cool experience. And I think that one was I actually saw that. Was like a screen unseen or mystery movie or something.
Yeah,
but,
same.
Crowd seemed to dig it. So
yeah, that was a really fun one. It's going to be on VOD here in a week or so, I think. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm trying to find the dates for Wet Hot, but yeah, it's funny because Friday, August 14th. So yeah, next Friday. Because it's funny. I want to go see it in the theater for sure, but also I've watched Wet Hot American Summer twice already this year, I think. So I don't know. I mean, it's a perfect comfort comedy movie for me. So yeah, I'll probably go see it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been good. And then I don't know what else is coming up. We'll see. We'll see when Tony screens exactly, but that'll probably be my next one after.
Right.
Well, One Night Only I'm seeing tomorrow, so
yes,
that'll be my next one.
Nice.
Yeah.
I could fake like an organic oh, you should come on the show and review it next week.
Do that. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, of course, you can follow Brent's work over at awakeinthedark.com. And again, you can follow both Andy and Brent at the usernames of Dandible and Awake in the Dark on Letterboxd. So thank you guys for joining me for this episode, of course. And do you mind if we go into what's playing this week in Indianapolis?
Let's do it.
Perfect. Okay, so I've got a few things to say about things that are playing at the Alamo Drafthouse and at the Can. Over at the Alamo, I don't think this week is, or maybe it is actually, one of the... No, I think the first and third Sunday of each month, our friend Lou Harry does the movie trivia over there. I don't think it's this weekend, but check your local listings and everything. But this weekend, and I believe it's an encore on next week as well, but they're showing Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which was my number one movie of 2023.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny because I haven't revisited it since, so maybe I will...
Fake fan.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Fair weather Marcel fan.
Right? But also at the Alamo, they're doing not necessarily a double feature, but this weekend they are showing two Elaine May movies. First, they're showing Mikey and Nikki on August 10th and the 8th. And then they are also showing A New Leaf on, I think that's Sunday, August 9th. So I haven't seen A New Leaf, but I did see Mikey and Nikki, and I remember liking it, but I haven't seen it in a very long time. So that's at the Alamo. And then also next week, just rapid fire, they're showing Adaptation, Being John Malkovich, Raising Cain, Mysterious Skin, and The Piano. So that's happening at the Alamo. What do you guys think of that? Anything that jumps out to you for what the Alamo is going to be showing?
I love adaptation. I didn't realize they were going to be showing it. I might have to try and see it. We did that as part of a trilogy a couple years ago with Charlie Kaufman's Meta Cinema works, and that one was like a adolescent favorite of mine, and then I rewatched it for the pod and still loved it.
Nice. What were so did you do adaptation, Being John Malkovich and Synecdoche, New York?
Yep.
Okay. Nice. Being John Malkovich and Synecdoche, those two are blind spots for me. So they're on my back half blind spots list. So I might I don't know. I was going to say I might try to like see both adaptation and Being John Malkovich and do like a back half blind spots for it. Maybe I will, but we'll see.
At the very least, you could tune into the Odd Trilogies episode.
Oh, I will.
Films.
Oh, absolutely. Of course I will. Brent, any thoughts on that?
I would probably only recommend Decompress Time after Synecdoche, New York.
Oh,
That would
yes.
be my recommendation.
That's what I've heard.
It is, it is a bleak picture. But
it's
Being John Malkovich is not really, not nearly in the same way or anything. Synecdoche is pretty heavy.
That's what I've heard. And to be honest, I've been kind of nervous to see it like over the years, just because it seems like a type of movie that I will latch onto and really like. So I'm really hopeful that I'll really like it. But it's one of those ones that I'm already kind of prepared. Like you said, decompression time. I'm feeling like, okay, this is a movie that might hit me in like specific areas that I'm not prepared for. So,
yeah, I think it's a great. I still think it's his best movie in terms of the ones that he's directed. Still,
nice.
But yeah, it's just a lot. So yeah, go your own pace. But
spoken like a real man who hasn't seen Stuck on You, which he didn't have anything to do with. But
it is true. I don't think I've seen that movie. I'm pretty sure I haven't.
That's my barometer for everything, really.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the right. Yeah.
Yep. But that's at the Alamo. Check that out. And over at the Can Theater, they are showing this weekend the 4K restoration of The Piano as well. And then on Sunday, the 9th, they're showing Breakfast at Tiffany's as part of their Book to Film Club series. And then on Saturday and then Encore on Wednesday, they're, as part of their David Lynch Directs series, they are showing The Straight Story, which I have not seen. So very interesting. What do you guys think of that?
The Straight Story is actually, I knew that they were doing that. I remember months ago when they announced this Lynch series, they had put it for August. A friend of mine and I, over the last few years, have kind of slowly worked our way through all of David Lynch's feature films. So I've seen all of them except for Straight Story. So I appreciate this reminder because now we can go check it out.
Oh, yeah. And even better, you can go to cancanindy.com and get your tickets now. So, yeah, that's the plug for the Can. Brent, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that all sounds great. The Straight Story, I thought I saw a headline like last month or something that Disney is going to be losing rights to it soon.
Oh, interesting.
So I actually don't know if that's already in Criterion Collection.
Interesting.
I don't know that, but if it isn't, then maybe it will be after that lapses. I think it came out in 99, so I don't know what even determines why they would be losing rights over it. But
yeah, I'm not sure if it's in the Criterion Collection. I know it's streaming on Criterion Channel.
Yeah, it's streaming, but it has not received a physical release from Criterion.
Interesting. Gotcha. There's a lot of, I won't say rumors or anything, but like there's a lot of like conjecture that like next year's big like Criterion box set that they're going to do is going to be a David Lynch retrospective like collection, which I think would be cool. Would be very
that
cool,
would be pretty. That'd be pretty awesome. Yeah. I mean, I know the Kubrick one is already doing like super well on pre-sales, right? I think. I mean, yeah, I would imagine.
So that's what's playing in Indy this week. And speaking of Criterion, I'm gonna do a quick I guess not even plug, but just I'm going to say this. Before we get to news before the reviews, I do have in the show notes a link to my Amazon wish list for Criterion releases. So if you want to gift me one, go ahead. But I do want to say that because for some reason, as of this recording, Amazon still has like the half off sale for it. That like whenever Barnes and Noble does their 50% off Criterion sale, like Amazon kind of matches that or mirrors it. And as of this recording, several of the Criterion releases are 50% off. So anyway, check that out.
What if I go after this episode and look at the show notes and look at the link and buy your for something off like my favorite that you have on there?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the question. I will receive it.
How many do you have on there?
I have several. I got when I was making the list and checking it twice, I wanted to be a little more discerning than I would normally do. So I don't have necessarily a lot on there. There's a lot that are on
fewer than 4,000 is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. Like I have several that I've seen before, but also several that are on my master list for the back half blind spots. So yeah. And looking at
I'll go on there and get and send you my favorite. Whatever my favorite one is that's on the list.
Nice. You don't have to do that. But the listeners do. Yeah. Anyway, Andy, your silence about me begging for Criterion stuff speaks volumes.
Well, I don't support it, but I accept it.
Nice. All right. I'll put a Dragon Ball Z collection or something on there. Yeah.
Bully's in the Criterion collection.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When you were talking about that and saying that you grew up with Dragon Ball Z, my thought was so dumb. My thought was like, oh yeah, when you were growing up, you were a nerd with Dragon Ball Z, while I was terrified to talk to girls and very scared of talking to anyone, really. So very dumb. Very, very dumb. But speaking of very dumb, do you guys want to do news before the reviews, before we get to our reviews of movies?
Well, in the spirit of the name, we probably should before we do the review.
I think so. I agree. All right. Well, I've got a few pieces of news to kind of go over. I don't really have much notes on them or anything, but the first one is that recently it was announced that the Clueless sequel limited series has been ordered by Paramount Plus. Yeah, I believe it was going to be on Peacock originally, or maybe somewhere else, but it landed at Paramount Plus now. So Alicia Silverstone is going to be in it. And let's see. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. I'll just read from the Deadline article. This marks a homecoming for Clueless, which is a Paramount IP. The series is a sequel to the cult classic 1995 Paramount Pictures teen comedy film, which, editorial note for me, is one of my favorites, honestly. Alicia Silverstone will reprise her role as Beverly Hills It Girl Cher Horowitz and will serve as an executive producer on the sequel, which is an eventized limited series version of the project that was previously in development at Peacock. So what do you guys make of this? How do you guys feel about Clueless as a property? And are you interested in seeing the limited series?
I have one question. What does eventized mean?
I think it is just it's a way for Deadline to, or the press release to say it's going to be a limited series.
Oh, okay.
So it is weird. It is a weird nomenclature to throw at it.
Yeah, I just hadn't I don't think I've heard that term before.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen Clueless, so
really?
I can't say that I have a lot of hype for the series, but it has been on my watch list for a long time. And hearing that it's one of your favorites kind of moves it up the list for me.
Nice. I'm going to spend the evening trying to figure out a trilogy to put that in, and then I'm going to pitch it to you and Logan. It's
Sounds
great.
good.
Yeah, I love it. Yep. Brent, any thoughts on Clueless?
Trying to think of two others you could pair that with.
Same here already.
I don't know what. Hey, boy.
I mean, there could be like an Amy Heckerling trilogy.
You could do like actually, you know what? You could do like a Rise of Brittany Murphy one would be kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
nice little tribute there, because that was like her
yeah.
big breakout thing in Clueless. She's not the lead in it; she's one of the friends. But anyway,
Nice.
And you're just a virgin who can't drive. That's yeah, great line. Anyway, I don't know. That's the closest I got for that one. I don't know. I'm usually pretty whatever on these like legacy
Streaming series.
sequels, in this case eventized series or whatever. I imagine they'll get Paul Rudd to come back for it. I just feel like he's game. Alicia Silverstone has had kind of really interesting roles the past like 5-6 years. Like she's like popped up in kind of like interesting, usually like kind of darker indies. Specifically, I was thinking of
the mom who blows her brains out in the lodge. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. Andy just spoiled the lodge for it. No, I'm just kidding. No, it came out.
Spoiler for the first 10 minutes of that movie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it really is like first 10 minutes. But she was in Begonia, right? Sir, Emma Stone's, or not Emma Stone's.
Gosh, was she? I don't even remember.
Jesse Plemons' mom. I thought that was her in that movie. But she's just popped up like here and there and like kind of other. It'll be interesting. Yeah, so it'll just be interesting to see like if she comes back for, something like this, even if it's like a legacy thing or whatever. But Brittany Murphy unfortunately wouldn't be able to come back. But I don't know who else they're thinking. I don't know with these things what they besides just of course eyeballs and money. What else they're going to do with it. But I'm a Clueless fan, a Clueless guy. So
nice.
I've been called Clueless a time or two.
As have I. Welcome to the Obsessive Viewer podcast. So I'm excited. I will be there with bells on. And
nothing else.
Oh yeah. I will be rolling with the homies to see the sequel series of Clueless. Trying to think of other references I can say. Anyway, the other piece of news I have that is the kind of directly related somewhat to the feature review tonight is Wonder Man is not going to be returning for season 2 at Disney Plus. Yes, despite having been ordered for season 2, and
they just yoinked it, right?
They just completely took it
renewal.
away. Yeah, and like I saw the showrunner posted on like TikTok or something that he was like, "Hey, I know that everyone's bummed about this. Me too. Like we were gonna open the writers' room like next month." And so, but the powers that be decided, they're not going to do it. So it's just, it's weird. Like, here's the thing and this is more an abstract thought about just the industry itself, but there have been so many times where like a show gets renewed for a second season and then it's just gone. Like it just doesn't happen. It just like, it's to the point where I know that we're at a time where TV shows are just like oversaturated. The whole market is oversaturated. There's like a million TV shows, but like, at what point is it like, why even bother announcing season 2 or a second, like a renewal if you're just going to like take it away? Like when does that lose its meaning? Like, like I understand like, oh, season 2 of this show is like, it was renewed and then you wait a year or whatever. And then it's like, oh, by the way, it's not coming out. Like,
I guess you would think that just at least in the interest of clarity and visibility to your audience that you like wouldn't announce something like that unless it was a sure thing, but then again, I don't know. I guess any press is good press to the studio or something like that.
Yeah. And I'm also curious about like the, I don't know, like legal side of it or whatever. Cause like, you know, you get renewed for a second season. Like even the showrunner of Wonder Man mentioned that like, you know, contracts were signed and everything. Like also what's the point of having like a contract if they can just pull it? Like, and like, I'm not saying that as like, oh, you know, it's lame because now it's not going to do that. But like thinking of like, okay, all the below the line people who worked on Wonder Man season 1, like they got renewed. They were like, oh, well, I have a good chance of having a job for the next year shooting Wonder Man or working on Wonder Man. And then now it's just like, oh, no, we're taking it away.
Yeah.
Like that's just, it's really shady.
It's very right to work in a way where like, it's like, oh yeah, you're contractually obligated to us, but we can decide to cancel that contract at any moment.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. To quote the founder, you know, contracts are like hearts; they're just made to be broken.
Oh yeah.
So I think about that line every day of my life.
Me too. I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
great cinematic movies.
Very much so. Yeah. I mean, I guess my hope would be that those kind of below the line folks, like, I don't know. Yeah. Hopefully they're getting to work on other projects, other Disney projects, and hopefully they're still like getting paid one way or another, even if it's not for Wonder Man, which is not going to be continuing. But yeah, I don't know. I guess, Andy, unless like it's to what you said, like any press is good press. I don't understand the idea of announcing that something's going to be renewed and then just yoinking it.
Yeah.
Especially that was such a short turnaround. I mean, it wasn't even announced as happening until like shortly before Spider-Man. And then as soon as Spider-Man came out, they were like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
Is this basically sort of the sign that they're kind of trying to move out of their like Disney Plus Marvel era and they're trying to get back everything? Yeah.
At least live action. It seems like they're not that interested in pursuing that anymore. It was like an experiment that worked in COVID when nobody had anything else to do, and then it kind of backfired on them when people got really sick of Marvel in general and Star Wars, because they did the same thing with Star Wars.
Right.
So they're probably like, let's keep it to movies, at least for like canon stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And like on paper, I'm more than okay with that. Just I think it's just the rug pulling of it all is a little hard to get excited about with any announcement. Same with, I'm not a Star Wars fan or anything, but it's the same concept of like Star Wars. They've announced years.
Multiple trilogies and canceled them.
Exactly. It's like, why are you even at why are you even at like the Disney thing? What did they call it? D23 maybe? Yeah. Like why?
It's just hard to take any announcement seriously when they like clearly don't really have a roadmap concretely laid out that they're willing to stick to, and they'll just announce stuff before they've figured out if they can actually make it happen or if they actually want to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, speaking of roadmaps, there is a movie that is out now that is on the road to being, and it might actually already be, like the highest grossing movie ever or whatever, for this year. That's Spider-Man Brand New Day. The last piece of news I have is that Avengers Endgame directors congratulate Spider-Man Brand New Day for breaking their opening weekend record. The gauntlet has been passed, the Russo brothers said. So Spider-Man Brand New Day had an opening weekend record for domestic box office of $360 million, which edges out their previous record holder, Marvel's previous record holder, Endgame, which launched in 2019 with $357 million in its opening weekend domestically. We can talk about this and then get into our feature review. But what do you guys? Did this surprise you? Because this kind of came out of somewhat nowhere from me. I was surprised by this. Your guys' thoughts?
I mean, I was a little bit surprised by it. I mean, people kind of always show up for Spider-Man, with the exception of Amazing Spider-Man 2, I guess. But I think, and maybe this is a little bit cynical, but I think Marvel played their cards well in terms of the marketing of this film and their explanation of what the film would be in framing it as like kind of a soft reboot for this version of the character. And I think they played that well in the sense of like, yeah, people are tired a little bit of the I don't know, the infantilization of Tom Holland, or perceived infantilization of Tom Holland's Peter Parker in the previous 3 movies. And this is him turning over a new leaf, becoming an adult. It's going to be, grounded, New York story, all those things. So I think, they won a lot of people, or they got people on board by shifting priorities in that way. It's still a surprising, just the sheer numbers that it's earning. But I remember when the trailer dropped and I saw reports that like it set the record for the most views of any online trailer in 24 hours. And it was like by like 3 or 4 or 5 times the second place. And I was like, how is that even possible? Like I couldn't wrap my head around that. I was like, that doesn't really make sense to me. But maybe that was the sign that like, everybody was excited for Spider-Man. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh. Brent, were you surprised by this?
Yeah, I was. I think, and it's already crossed 1 billion worldwide.
Yeah.
In 5 days, I think.
Yeah. I mean, these are just, I don't know. I guess the closest thing, I guess maybe I can think, but I have no idea why anyone sees any movie ever, certainly in millions and all this stuff. But, if Endgame was the sort of answer to Infinity War in terms of the cliffhanger, then Brand New Day is kind of the answer to No Way Home. Yeah. It's not just that, but it is sort of like, of course, that ended on a pretty big cliffhanger. It did come out 5 years ago. So there is maybe that kind of sort of built up anticipation and wanting to kind of see that. I don't, beyond that, because, No Way Home, you have the whole thing of like, where all the other Spider-Man's going to be in there, and they were. And, again, with Endgame, it's like, well, you have all these other characters, and it's this resolution to Infinity War. So like those two, like specifically, like just as recent examples or things I can point to in Marvel, like I sort of get. But I don't know, for a 4th Spider-Man movie, look, I expected it to do like well.
Yeah.
But like that it could. I don't, again, aforementioned, I don't do well with box office speculation, but
Same.
This could outgross Doomsday, which I wouldn't, if you had asked me that 2 months ago, even with some of the stats that you were throwing out there, Andy, I'd be like, well, no, because it's just Spider-Man and then maybe a few other, like, oh, yeah, the Hulk's in it and stuff like that. But like, no, Doomsday is all the other things. And I don't know at all if this is what, if we're looking into, what the box office is trying to tell everyone or whatever. I don't know if this is people saying like, well, we really like Spider-Man and we really like, this thing, like we want more specific stuff. And like, I don't know. We'll just see how Doomsday. Of course, there's going to be a ton of speculation around that and what it would mean for.
I have a hard time picturing Doomsday being as successful as this.
Me too.
At this point, just because.
See, that's
Then again, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I think you're right. Like I have that hunch, and and of course the obvious like. Inflation too in multiple formats. There's always that stuff too with numbers. Not that I'm trying to at all take away from it because it's any movie making $1 billion in 5. It's insane numbers.
Yeah.
So,
but also with Doomsday, I also think that it's not going to. I think Doomsday is going to be interesting because I really feel like it's going to underperform. But then again, none of us have seen Endgame Encore or whatever, so that could really prime things for Doomsday to be incredible. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows with any of that? Whatever they're going to add to it or won't, I have no idea.
Yep. But we shall see. So that is it for news before the reviews. Do you guys want to go into our feature review of the evening, reviewing Spider-Man Brand New Day?
Let's do it.
Alrighty, as I mute to cough. All right, so of course we're going to do a feature review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. We're going to do a non-spoiler review and then switch over to spoilers at a certain point. The timestamps, if you want to navigate around spoilers, are available in the show notes or description. They're also available at obsessiveviewer.com/OV512, I believe. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and go into a non-spoiler review of Spider-Man Brand New Day. This is in theaters. It was released July 31st, 2026. And the premise, according to IMDb, is a forgotten Peter Parker lives alone as a full-time Spider-Man until mounting pressure triggers a dangerous change and a powerful new enemy emerges. Director for this movie was Destin Daniel Cretton, and writers were Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. And the cast includes Tom Holland, Zendaya, Mark Ruffalo, John Bernthal, Jacob Batalon, Sadie Sink, Tremel Tillman, and Michael Mando. So, guys, let's talk non-spoilers about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Even though the villain is very much been spoiled online and everything, like everyone knows who it is, I'm thinking maybe we should not. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we just kind of take that Band-Aid off since everyone on the planet has seen this movie?
I've seen published reviews that have no bones about revealing it. I mean, okay. I'm good either way. I don't really care.
Your call. Whatever you think. I'm good with either.
Okay, so for people who don't want to be spoiled about Sadie Sink's character, go ahead and watch the movie and come back and listen to this. Spoiler warning for that. We're going to be spoiling who Sadie Sink plays. Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about it. Jean Grey, what's up? Where should we begin?
Well, I just want to say, I think we probably can all agree, conceptually, such a bizarre choice for the main villain of a Spider-Man movie. I think I feel that the way they pull it off is really well done, but just bizarre to like say, okay, here's our next kind of our next iteration of this Spider-Man. It's, we're kicking off a new trilogy. It's going to be the grounded, stripped back Spider-Man movie. And also the villain is an X-Men in a world where X-Men don't exist yet. Right.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really weird. And like I liked that plot line. I liked the way that she was utilized and everything, but I do agree it is strange, and it's strange because the MCU has been spinning its wheels a bit for the last 5-10 years, kind of hinting at X-Men to come, and we know that like the OG X-Men cast are going to be in Doomsday. And like we also got them in a cameo in the Marvels at the end. And like that's all well and good. And I know Doomsday is going to be this multiverse saga capper thing, but like it feels like it's muddying the waters a little bit that like, okay, we've got like all of the like old school X-Men coming in, and then like, oh hey, by the way, we're setting up X-Men in the MCU with this new iteration of Jean Grey. It just feels like an interesting kind of microcosm for what the MCU has been doing for the last decade or however long since Endgame. Jesus, that wasn't even a decade ago. That was like 6 years, 7 years.
7, yeah.
Yeah. The last 7 years, in that it just kind of seems like they're switching off. They're doing things that do not seem like there is a roadmap to it. So I don't know, but I thought she was good.
Yeah, I mean that was really my biggest issue with the movie. I guess in a sense, I'm glad we're talking about like the Jean Grey part of it, because I did not mention her or Sadie Sink or anything in my review, even though I know she's in the trailers. Like I get that, and everyone knows she's in it. I know it's a very open. Open secret, I suppose, that she's in it. But I think you guys pinpointed it really well. Like, I just think this is a very clumsy way to continue to kind of do this weird X-Men dance within the MCU that they're trying to do. You mentioned the Marvels. like Professor X being in Multiverse of Madness. Like they've been able to get along with this sort of like multiverse, almost kind of like excuse to basically bring back, Kelsey Grammer and Patrick Stewart in those two instances. Deadpool and Wolverine, of course, that is like kind of the closest sort of big X-Men thing that you get in the MCU. But you're having reprising characters. And, it's kind of its own thing. Like Deadpool and Wolverine, it's even weird to me that Deadpool is like in the MCU. We'll see how that plays out in Doomsday and Secret Wars. I have no idea. But that to me, you even have, like that movie Your Own, which I didn't particularly care for, but like it had a eulogy to the 20th century X-Men era.
Yes.
Like, say what you will, but they should have just stuck with that. Like, unfortunately, like they're doing the 20th century X-Men stuff in Doomsday, which without seeing the movie, God, to see Patrick Stewart die again in that chair. Anyway, it's just like, what are we doing? But more to the point of where we are now with Brand New Day. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't know if maybe I'm an X-Men purist or something. I don't think I am in terms of, I don't read comics, but in terms of the movies, I guess maybe I am traditional in the sense that I like X-Men being introduced more than one in a movie, or just like have a real, like have a cast of, multiple things. And I mean, it's like, you're right. Like it's just sort of weird to have just like one super, we'll talk about it too, but like one super powerful, like a mutant and that like Spider-Man is facing up against like by himself. Like there's just like plot wise did not mesh with me at all. But just speaking more generally outside of Jean Grey, I do I do like this movie. I think these movies still work. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think the choices that they make really in terms of the I don't know if we can say when this is exactly or how much longer after, but I'll just say generally I think they do like a good job with like, again, transitioning that character and like, MJ and Ned and that sort of stuff. Like all that stuff, I just think, conception wise, like I think they really could have done a much better job with the villain and like tying her story in with his and like actually made this character driven. I with this a lot in my review is of like, I feel like I keep coming into these movies and fittingly, it's like Doctor Strange just casts a spell on me every time. Marvel's like, this is going to be the one that's like, it's like we went back that we were in the Criterion closet when we were writing this one, baby, and it's like, I'm like, oh yeah, this is DDC is going to get it. Yeah. I've seen Short Term 12, and it's like every time it's like, I fall for it. And when I say fall for it, that's the stupid thing about it that's the fallacy is like, I fall for something that's very consistently entertaining, like probably about as consistently entertaining a franchise 38 films in. Right. It's like, it's impossible. It's impossible that they could be making movies for 18 years and still have them be like still like fun and fresh. Like it's just insanity. So I kind of always have to have that caveat when I'm talking about MCU stuff, because I think honestly, had they done different things with Jean Grey, had a different villain, tied those things a little more, like I think I would have enjoyed this quite a bit more. But as is, still very fun.
Andy, you were going to say something?
Well, I think I obviously, as I already said, I agree that it's a weird choice just from the outset. But I think I'll push back a little bit on Brent's point about it not feeling character driven, or like Jean Grey doesn't feel connected to Spider-Man's story, because and I won't get into spoilers yet, obviously, but I thought the movie, when I said it's weird conceptually, but I liked the execution, I really thought the way they wrote Jean Grey as an antagonist to Spider-Man in this, and kind of how her journey coincides with what Peter Parker's going through and the lessons he's learned up to this point, and how he's able to kind of reach her in a way that only Peter Parker at this point in his life could reach her, was done really well. I totally agree that, like, introducing a character like Jean Grey as a villain in a Spider-Man movie in a franchise where the X-Men don't really exist is bizarre, and I don't really understand the motivation, but I'm a little bit forgiving of it because of what you said. With how they keep kind of being all namby-pamby about letting go of the old Fox verse. I'm like, okay, finally, something material showing that they're willing to move forward with mutants and X-Men in these movies in a new iteration. It didn't necessarily like get me hyped for the MCU's version of X-Men because it is just one character and, you know, she's not herself in a way. Obviously she's the villain in this and she, you know, is going to go on to become a hero. Spoilers. But you know, I thought that I'm assuming that was a top-down thing, like Kevin Feige or whoever told Daniel Daniel Cretton, like, hey, we're going to do Jean Grey in this movie. Screenwriters, do what you can with it. And I think they did a marvelous job kind of figuring out how to make an emotional and logically consistent or thematically consistent version of the story featuring a character who on paper probably shouldn't have been there. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I was going to jokingly say this, like, okay, and Brent, are you going to take that? Like, are you going to
gotta fight back?
Yeah. I'm mediating a fight. But no, yeah, I agree. In something that, and this is probably a bigger picture thing that's getting away from the actual movie, and we'll talk about the actual movie, but I know, like, there's no way that we could have kind of planned or predicted like the trajectory of the MCU post Endgame, because the whole Jonathan Majors thing that took out all of the Kang stuff, and then now like it just feels like they have had a lot of stuff that's they did those experiments, they did the Disney Plus shows and everything that's clearly not really working, but because of that, I'm thinking about it with hindsight that I still don't necessarily understand why we need Doomsday. Like, why Doomsday? Like, why is it happening now? Yeah. Like, and especially since it is the multiverse saga, and they had plans for the Kang Dynasty and all of that. Like, the fact that it is the multiverse, like, just recast Kang if they needed to fire Jonathan Majors. Like, that, like, that's not a bit, it just seems so weird to pivot that hard. But that's, I'm off that soapbox for now, but
I'm sure we'll keep going back to it. It's kind of, you know, with this franchise at this point, it's hard to stay away from the weirdness of the big picture. Yeah.
And that's also kind of what I am kind of also getting at here. That with hindsight, I feel like instead of doing what they've done this for the last 7 years, like, I don't know that we needed like a new Spider-Man movie, but I don't know if we needed like all the installments that they've given us, all the things. Like, they should have just focused on like introducing the Fantastic Four and introducing the X-Men and having that be like, having the multiverse saga be like a bridge to, you know, the new era of Avengers movies or whatever. Yeah. But that, I don't know. It just seems so sloppy. But to get it back to Spider-Man, this worked really well for me. I really liked this movie. I think that, like, I wrote on Letterboxd that it pays off the promise of the end of No Way Home in about as well away for me as it could have. And I think that it, for all of the kind of issues about Jean Grey and some of the stuff there and the big picture stuff, I think that the actual story, the Peter Parker story, is handled so incredibly well. And I love Tom Holland in that role so much. Like, I can't take credit for this. Isn't an original thought. This is something I saw someone say, but like, he even said in the press junkets, like, there was a clip of him saying, like, you know, talking about how like, oh, there are certain roles that like people are defined as like Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. and I can't remember what the other examples were, but which proves the point, I guess. No, Superman is
Chris Evans is and Chris Evans is Captain America, I would say.
And I feel like no shade to Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield, but I really feel like Tom Holland is like that. Like Spider-Man is a role that he's gonna like be remembered for his whole career, but he's obviously a very talented guy, so he's gonna do other things. But it's that well done in terms of his performance across all of his appearances as Spider-Man. So and it was no different here for me. I thought he did great.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, he's been a lot more contentious a Spider-Man in his previous 3 movies, just because not everybody bought into the like younger, more immature, more Iron Man dependent Spider-Man or whatever, Iron Boy Jr. or whatever it was people said. And you know, I don't know how much of it's a vocal minority that just shows up on my feeds all the time, but there's always been this sentiment of like, you know, Tom Holland Spider-Man is a pussy and would get his ass beat by the other 2 any day of the week, you know, that kind of thing. And I think while I disagree with that, I think Tom Holland really nailed that kind of younger, pluckier, goofier Spider-Man in a really fun way from the outset. I love Homecoming.
Me too.
And his appearance in Civil War. But, you know, in this movie, we get to kind of see him go to a different place with it. He's older. He's certainly more world weary and kind of darker for a lot of the reasons that the plot gives him. And I think it's Holland's best performance, period, certainly as the character, but it's probably his best performance that I've seen. I just think he gets so much more to play with and do. And it's kind of a similar story for Zendaya. I thought this was her best turn as MJ. Certainly not her best performance overall, because she's done all sorts of cool stuff, but I just thought
performance this year, Andy.
But yeah, I thought Holland really got to stretch himself in a way that, while I really enjoyed the Home trilogy, and in No Way Home, he certainly got to go into some new territory. I thought here he just had a playground of emotional range and stuff that he was up to the task for, which was cool.
Absolutely. Yep.
I mean, I think that was the thing for me in this. I mean, again, I think a lot of this, I think in terms of my reaction to this, is just sort of coming back to like wishing for something that was never going to happen. In a sense, like I don't really care. Like, I did like The Punisher actually in this quite a bit. I had not seen the series or anything, or the One Final Kill or whatever the one was that came out earlier this month. But like, I knew John Bernthal was the character, and I thought this was a really great debut for him. In this world, because I was like, that's going to be weird, because I think those are pretty like violent and usually pretty mouthy, and I thought he was a really great foil. So like that team up I was fine with. There's like another character that he meets up with a few times that I won't spoil, but there's just like all this other stuff, and then like it gets really Jean Grey heavy especially the third act. I don't know. I was just like, I kind of found myself really gravitating towards the scene set in apartments. And like that was the stuff I really liked. There's a scene early on at a party that is, I was actually kind of taken with, because it's like actually like well lit. It was actually like felt like it was at a real apartment. I think especially there's all sorts of things you can point to, but like there's especially stuff like in No Way Home, and you can all throughout like the John Watts movies, which I like all 3 of them, but like in terms of like the cinematography especially, there's some stuff that looks really flat. And I appreciated not just in that party scene, but like in the more like, again, conversation driven, like intimate moments, that they're actually like, it like looks good. And again, like I don't want to like damn it with faint praise, but like it's not always a given with these movies. So
I think, I was really pleased to see that it felt like this movie made a concerted effort to have meaningful and effective lighting and coloring. That, I mean, you kind of said it already. So many of these Marvel movies, they're kind of movies in format alone, and there's not really much consideration given to the formal qualities of cinema generally. Oh my gosh, what just happened with my camera?
cinema, baby. That's called a crash zoom.
Right. But this was the first MCU movie in a long time, maybe since they moved from film to digital, where I was like, this actually looks really good and in an intentional way. I mean, lots of the other movies look good in moments where they have really cool staging or scenery, and it's like, okay, the VFX artists popped off and gave us some really great environments, but the cinematography, the actual in-camera lighting, not usually very distinct. And in this, I thought they did a good job with that, which I think was important if you're trying to tell, a more grounded story, to put those characters really in those environments and to feel like we're in an apartment or we're in an office building or we're on the roof of a building, whatever.
Which is also interesting because I believe they shot a lot of it in England, not even in New York. So that was interesting. But in terms of the more grounded approach, I thought that they did a really good job. And to your guys' point about the kind of filmmaking aspect of it and everything, for reasons I can't even articulate, I rewatched Captain America Brave New World after seeing Spider-Man, and that movie, the whole time I'm rewatching it, I'm because I hadn't seen it since the theater, I'm thinking man, Anthony Mackie deserved a better Captain America movie. And it pisses me off that it's basically an Incredible Hulk sequel before a Captain America movie. But there are just so many moments in that just feels like it's dependent on the volume and having that that ugliness of the volume in the visual effects. That, I mean, obviously in the MCU it's been done much worse in other ones, but it's refreshing to see that I didn't have that experience with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, most of the last phase of Marvel, post their launching of Disney Plus and all their shows there, it feels like all of that has been shot almost entirely on the volume.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if they used it any for this movie, but I certainly didn't. It wasn't sticking out to me. It wasn't clearly they're in an open circular space because they're in the volume.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm still, for some reason, I still like Quantumania, but I think that's for a lot of people, that's ground zero for what you guys are talking about, where it's none of this is real. Right. All of this is green screen. None of this is tactile. Yeah. I still enjoy that movie for whatever reason, but
I think
I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it. I haven't revisited it, but I also feel that the main conceit of that movie kind of allows it to not be as distracting just because it's in the quantum realm.
It's in the quantum realm for the vast majority of it. So I mean, you guys mentioned too, there were a couple shots later on that have really nothing to do with VFX. There's a shot basically of Spider-Man kind of jumping up into a window and kind of posing like a spider. And I was like, that's awesome. Yeah. And there's a shot right after where it's a reflecting puddle shot, which we've seen before, right? There was a pair of shots like that back to back late in the movie. And I'm like, I mean, they're doing something. They're doing something. And those are not shots that have anything to do with really VFX or anything crazy special effects wise. It's just good old fashioned, kind of staging, lighting, and the fundamentals. So I'm definitely heartened to see things like that.
Yeah, in the actual action, the action and the web swinging and everything, that it felt somewhat fresh, and something that we talked about in like a private chat after the movie was like, I know Andy noticed this and I noticed it too, but it really felt like there was a good mix of influence from like the Insomniac Spider-Man games, in terms of the action, the way it's choreographed, because those games are amazing. I love those games, and I recently I replayed the first one, played the second one, played Miles Morales, and just the fluidity of the action in those video games. It was so interesting to watch Brand New Day and see them kind of adopt some of that fluidity onto a live action movie. So like the one that I kind of point out is like early on, there's like a montage of him fighting crime, and like he just takes down a bunch of guys on a rooftop. And like, I'm like, that is Spider-Man the game. Like that is absolutely from that. But also just in the way that he uses the web gadgets and stuff, it just really felt, to quote like Gen Z parlance, it's very Insomniac coded. Which I thought was cool.
Holland has been pretty open about the fact that he's a huge fan of those games, and that they made consciously kind of stole from it or were inspired by it in the way they shot the action. I was really just pleased that, obviously it's Spider-Man. He moves superhumanly fast and does crazy stuff, and a lot of it is going to be CGI inevitably. Every Spider-Man movie is like that. But I appreciated how much wire work and actual like physical, camera work there was. Lots of real actors in a lot of those scenes. A lot of kind of group fights, like that rooftop fight, the hand fight, that all felt very tactile in a way that a lot of the other Holland movies have kind of been missing. And yeah, just really creative in the way that they tackle kind of, how would somebody who can move like that and has webs like that actually take down their enemies? Like they have limitless options, and it's fun to see them play around with that. Totally.
And to talk about the kind of grounded aspect of it, I know that our dear friend Evan did not like this movie. And one of the things he was very vocal about, you can check his review on Midwest Film Journal, was that he felt like it wasn't grounded. It wasn't like a grounded Spider-Man movie. It wasn't as advertised. I disagree with that. I think that there is a certain grounded level to it that I think, like, even small bits and pieces of it being like, or his main complaint was that it's not street level Spider-Man. And not to argue with him, not on the podcast, but like I
think we should beat him up.
Oh,
while
I think
he's not here to defend himself. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Seems appropriate.
Yeah. My kind of whole thing is like when you're in like, it's like 30 some odd movies into the MCU, this is as street level as this cinematic universe can get. And the way that we keep Spider-Man at street level in this movie is just like little things, like him interacting with like the cops and working with them, and like going to the Department of Damage Control, and like him just sitting in a chair in an office talking in full costume talking to Tremel, I can't remember, Trammell Tillman, like that. There's just something about that just really feels like, oh yeah, this is not like, this is the Spider-Man that has been in space, but also this is a Spider-Man that's, he doesn't have that, like, technically he doesn't have like that Stark safety net, even though a lot of his tech is, Stark-esque. So I don't know. I just wanted to mention that just to throw shade at Evan. So any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I can't speak to the grounded in term. I can't cite comics. I mean, Evan is well of knowledge when it comes to comics. And then I know you guys have clearly played are those the Insomniac ones? Are those like the PlayStation ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not a gamer either, so I don't know. But I think when I would maybe agree with what he's talking about. I mean, in terms of the grounded thing, I mean, yes, I would start that with don't have like a super powerful mutant be his villain, but I'll put that aside for a second and say the sort of grounded stuff like that I would have really liked is there's a like young woman in his like apartment complex, and this is like early on in a montage, and like tries to engage with him, and then the next scene right after that is him going to the super or whatever and going to like a different apartment basically. And of course, like I understand what the context of that is. It's that he wants to be alone, he's shutting her out and all of this stuff. That's the kind of thing I wanted them to like lean into. Like, so Matt, again, I don't know anything about comics, but you just threw this out, the whole like this Black Cat character where I don't pretend to know like who that is fully, but I did see that it was supposed to be interestingly played by Anne Hathaway in Spider-Man 4, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 4, before that got rebooted and all of that. I'm not saying it should have been played with by Anne Hathaway, although it would have been funny if they had 4 people from the Odyssey in this movie. But just something where you have some shows. See, like this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about for the MCU. Like, let's have a little bit of sexual tension. Like,
these movies are so sexless.
I mean, you know, if you take off his costume, there's not anything down there. Like, you know, and I mean, you know, we know that he has abs, and he leaves the mask on at one point, and he has the abs, and like that's great. That's like the closest thing we get a sex appeal. But
I almost think it would have been funnier in that scene, the bathhouse scene, if like, you know, I don't know, maybe the rules of the bathhouse or whatever, like, you know, he had to get naked. And obviously, you know, it's a Marvel movie, we're not going to see full frontal or anything, but like even just the implication of Peter's in this weird power dynamic right now with Yelena, and he has to go full vulnerable, full nude, you know, to have this meeting with her. That it leads at just a little bit of the edge. I
mean, just I'll take any of it, but yeah.
I was gonna say, with you guys saying, I'll push back on the whole sexless thing. Like, we see Tom Holland's feet, like, you know,
we do.
There's nothing more sexy than that.
Up.
Yes, very much so. But you know,
I wish they were dirtier.
Jesus.
Well, that's you can tip extra on only feet for that. But I mean, regardless, just like finishing that thought, because I do stand by that it's sexy, but not just that, but it's just like, I mean, you know, sorry, I'll go back to like Spider-Man 3. At least we have, you know, the Mary J, the MJ kind of Gwen Stacy thing. Like, you know, to be honest, like, especially with, you know, of course, Tom Holland and Zendaya being married in real life, which they have scenes in this movie that are, I would say, like, I say dangerous. I mean, I'm not trying to do the little bunny hill roller coaster thing, but I think play with that sort of parasocial, like metatextual stuff with them. I don't know. They were probably just too worried about it, and they're like, no, just have them be long lost lovers and that.
Well,
that's the thing for me. It's like, I'm sorry, that's more interesting to have another love interest, have someone trying to pry open his like antisocial thing, which I get, I understand why that is, but like that's what I wanted.
And that's why, like, to kind of clarify a point that you made about my point about Black Cat. That's a point that I made in our private chat. So, which join Patreon. No, there's no access to that in Patreon. But anyway.
Oh God, I hope not.
No.
I gotta delete some stuff.
But no, I had made the point in our chat that it would have worked better as a Spider-Man story and a street level Spider-Man story if the villain wasn't Jean Grey, if the villain wasn't, if he didn't have, you know, those like other Avengers appearing like Punisher and Mark Ruffalo, but rather have, like, since the whole point of the story in this installment is that he's grappling with the resolution of the spell from No Way Home. So he is wrestling with that identity of being Spider-Man all the time, not being Peter Parker, because no one knows who Peter Parker is, and he does that specifically so that he can protect people around him. So that's why he's not. That's the whole point of the end of No Way Home, when he doesn't come find them in the coffee shop. He just orders coffee because he wants to protect them. So my kind of point is that I feel like it would have worked better. And to preface this, I do like Jean Grey in the movie. I do like the movie we got, but I think it would have been a more interesting Spider-Man movie if they had like a Spider-Man character, like if they had Black Cat, who, and granted, like I know her from the video games. I don't know her from the comics or anything, but it's like she's like a cat thief, cat burglar who is kind of an anti-hero sort of companion of Spider-Man, and that I think would have been so interesting to see an isolated Spider-Man wrestling with losing his identity as Peter Parker and his life, his friends, and kind of just running into this cat burglar character who is very kind of what's the word? Very like tempestuous and sensual, and uses like, you know, her attractiveness to kind of, you know, get her way. Manipulate. Yeah. And like, I think that would have been an interesting kind of movie if it explored that as Peter is wrestling with like his lack of identity and being like, not saying that he needs to go and like rob places or anything, but like dealing with that kind of moral ambiguity and wrestling that with his identity. But that's not the movie we got. I just thought that would be interesting.
Yeah, well, and I mean, Black Cat would have been interesting too, because with the whole premise of this movie being he doesn't really have an identity as Peter Parker, and Black Cat is a character who in the comics, I mean, she's the rare character who has a romance with Spider-Man, not Peter Parker. Like they, you know, obviously eventually I think at some point they figure out each other's identities, but you know, that is kind of the initial premise of their relationship, is they're both masked vigilantes, lawbreakers, whatever, who fall in love with one another's personas, or at least have kind of a fling between their personas. And to have Peter reckon with that, like, okay, well, I'm not Peter anymore, so maybe Spider-Man can have a little fun, would have been interesting.
Yeah, you guys are saying like all the this is why I love this format, because like this is the kind of stuff that I don't know in terms of like the characters and filling stuff in, and I feel a little silly like wishing for things that I don't even fully know about. But there are suggestions. Yeah, like, they don't have that character in there twice. She is the second time when he's stealing her clothes, and he has of course the sweatpants that say juicy on it and all that. You know, so like, yeah, so maybe this is sexier than I'm giving credit for, but no, I mean, seriously, like that's what I, you know, again, yeah, I would, given what I'm, you know, how they're setting this up the first 15 minutes and all this stuff, and what I think it seemed like where they were kind of going. Like, I wanted the antagonist of this movie to be Temptation. Yeah. But again, like, I'm wishing for a movie that doesn't make $1 billion in 5 days. So it's just whatever. Like, it's probably, I get to a point where I'm like, okay, that's nice, but you know, I'm stupid. Like, that's just not going to happen. So,
and to be honest, it's also wishing for a movie that I don't think Disney would allow to happen. Essentially, like Punisher. Punisher is good. John Bernthal is good, but like my understanding of Punisher is like he's neutered. He's pretty neutered in the MCU, which is fine. That's, you know.
Well, and I mean, also, you know, not to stick up for the little man Disney, but you know,
that's here
also,
we go.
I think arguably true of every live action iteration of Spider-Man, that they've kind of been afraid to go all in on this idea of Spider-Man having a different love interest. I mean, Spider-Man 3 introduces Gwen Stacy, but she's a joke character. Terribly written. MJ is terribly written in that movie. And I don't think it really seriously contends with the notion of Peter, you know, finding a life outside of MJ. And then, you know, Amazing Spider-Man, you know, maybe in the third one we would have seen MJ, because I know she, what's her name?
Was it Shailene Woodley?
Shailene Woodley shot some stuff as MJ for The Amazing Spider-Man 2 that was not used in the film.
Yeah.
Well, and hypothetically, she would have been in the third one, given how the second one ends.
So it's like, okay, you know, but yeah, in the films we've gotten, no studio has ever been, or director or whatever, has ever really been willing to go there the way the comics go there, with Peter having multiple love interests and being pulled every which way. So I just think that's something that for some reason the studios are trepidatious about. There's such a purity in the attitude surrounding the Peter MJ relationship. And, maybe even more so with this iteration with how kind of innocent their relationship is. It's like maybe they think that would be a bridge too far for Peter to have a fling when his one true love, who he's kissed twice, is out there.
Well, and again, we can't dance around too much. The idea, like Tom Holland and Zendaya, will really ship them. So, that could be, it's like, don't mess with the formula too much. Like, we'll have Doctor Strange's spell be the bridge between them. We don't want another, hussy in your apartment to be the thing. But see, that's the thing for me. Again, I'm wanting danger, Disney to be dangerous, or whatever. So it's probably a silly thing for me to wish. So that's that would have been, these have been great ideas. It's not the movie we got. What we got was Jean Grey. I just didn't care for that as much, which, I don't know how much we want to talk about her character without getting into specific spoilers, but I'll just say generally my issue isn't just that. Okay, yes, and to your point, I'm glad they at least tried to recast someone for one of the 20th century X-Men. I'm glad they at least did something there. But this is the problem, I think, for me anyway. Now, I know X-Men and Spider-Man and I know in the comics they interact a lot, but in terms of the movie, the X-Men, to me anyway, they're very powerful. If you look compared to Spider-Man versus his foes, the other one of the other antagonists in Brand New Day is Scorpion. He has a big mechanical tail and has a stinger thing. And I'm fine with that. In fact, I would prefer that kind of more along the lines for a Spider-Man villain. Yeah. But X-Men, you get into Jean Grey, extremely powerful mutant, and I think maybe that's why I'm a little more just keep the X-Men as their own thing, at least introduce, because it didn't make sense to me. I'll say generally, it did not make sense to me at multiple points in the movie to have Spider-Man facing off against Jean Grey, given what she can do and her powers develop in the movie.
I think they kind of get away with it in that she isn't capable of that much in the context of this movie until the very end, when she kind of has her breakthrough moment. And then it's she is insanely powerful. And really before that, it's just, okay, she can body hop, which is daunting, but not a planetary threat or whatever. Yeah.
And I do think
I think it worked for me because they keep it to a young, inexperienced Jean Grey who doesn't know her powers.
Yeah. And I do think that there is a level of scale that needs to be put into consideration because, this is, the fourth Spider-Man movie in this iteration of Spider-Man. It's post Endgame, it's post Infinity War. And us kind of talking about it as street level Spider-Man, we already got that in this iteration with Homecoming. Vulture is there's nothing super powerful about him. There's no big scale thing. And I don't know. It just feels like they probably couldn't logistically just do another scaled down thing when this Spider-Man has been in space and snapped out of existence.
Fair enough. But Homecoming is still my favorite one of these four.
Mine too.
And what's the best scene in that movie?
Yeah.
Sorry. That's not fair. That's a little condescending.
No,
one in the car with Michael Keaton.
Oh, yeah.
It's Adrian Toomes. That's two people in a car, and that's Michael Keaton just being awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And having his number, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous because it's the people.
Stakes.
So I again, I feel like I'm maybe just wishing for something that was never going to happen with this movie. But again, they'll, God forbid, I don't even know, when we're talking about this money, I don't know what it's going to take money-wise to, get Tom Holland and then Zendaya back, who is now, in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what they're going to have to, offer up for a fifth movie. I don't know if he's in Doomsday or Secret Wars, any of this crap. So, I don't know what's going to happen in terms of a fifth Spider-Man movie.
They'll have to be street level.
Right. Yeah. They won't have any money left for
budget only allows for practical villains.
The fifth one,
no, but I get that. Definitely if this is the most grounded, most street level Spider-Man they can do anymore, then yeah, what does that say about where we're going to go from here? Are we going to go right back to the No Way Home stuff? Like, I like No Way Home a lot. It's a very, I think it pulls off that stuff a lot, but it is, kind of goes, it's a part of that whole part of Marvel, just like, pushing everything toward big multiverse crossover bullshit. And it's like, was this their one attempt at like something more stripped back, and now they're going to go right back to Spider-Man's traveling the world or the galaxy or whatever?
Yeah, this is the quaint version. Yeah. Oh, that's kind of getting back just really briefly to where I was talking about the box office stuff. And I know people buy a ticket and they don't know exactly what movie they're getting. And I understand they advertise a lot of other different crossover characters in this movie. But it does make me wonder, like, for me, with where the MCU is now, my hope is that if this does what it's doing and Doomsday does flop, I'm hoping that the message they get is we've gotten too far with the spectacle
We have
stuff.
to scale back. Yeah.
Is what I'm hoping. But I mean, you never know. I mean, the studios learn the wrong lessons about box office constantly.
And I mean, my sentiment franchise wide is the same. I would love if they would kind of go back to basics a little bit. If, if Ghost Rider doesn't have a single recognizable character in it, I think that would be awesome.
I already forgot that they even announced that. I
literally did not know that was a Marvel character until they announced it at whatever the thing is. So
I thought the original was just a sequel to Next.
Next, I have seen. I haven't even seen either of the Ghost Rider movies. I know it was.
Brent, you're missing out. So good.
I mean, isn't it crazy? Yeah, it's
top 5 Marvel movies ever.
It's nuts too, because there's so many Nick Cage movies I still haven't seen.
He's made so many.
And I've seen Pay the Ghost, but I haven't seen Ghost Rider. So it's weird.
Well, it's
weird.
time to pay the Ghost Rider, Brent.
Exactly.
Well, we've all seen Deadfall, and that's the greatest Nick Cage movie of all time. So
true.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So having said all that, do you guys want to go into spoilers for No Way or for Brand New Day? Jesus.
Sure.
Yeah, we can talk about more spoilers. But before we do that, what did you guys rate it on Letterboxd, and where would you rank it in this Tom Holland verse of Spider-Man movies?
I rated it 4 out of 5. I think my knee-jerk reaction walking out of the theater, I rated it a 4.5, just because I was really riding that Spider high, and I was a little worried it was gonna suck, and it didn't, and it impressed me in a lot of ways I wasn't quite expecting. But I think it's taking a more measured look at it, it's a 4 out of 5. A really, really strong, has some flaws, some things I don't love, but overall a really kind of wonderfully personal Spider-Man story that I really liked. And I would rank it it's my favorite of Tom Holland's movies. I think it's kind of neck and neck with Homecoming and No Way Home, but I think it edges those out. And then I think the only other live action Spider-Man I might put above it maybe would be the first Tobey Maguire film. I'm not as high on Spider-Man 2 as everybody else is.
Oh, interesting.
And I would put the animated Spider-Verse movies above it. But I almost sometimes don't really count those, just because all the live action movies have been Peter Parker and those movies are Miles Morales, so they're a different character basically. So
nice. Brent, how about you?
I ended up at a 3 out of 5, but I still liked it, and go on and see what other MCU movies I've rated 3 out of 5. Infinity War and Winter Soldier.
Oh, you're a 3 on Infinity War.
And Guardians of the Galaxy and the first one. So, and don't ask if Quantumania or Iron Man 2 are above those, because that's trivial things. You don't need to worry about that. But needless to say, I think about these things. I think, I don't know, I'm built different. Incorrectly, I think. In terms of, I like all 4 of these Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. I still like Homecoming the most. I like this probably second or third. Honestly, I rewatched No Way Home. I was 3.5 out of 5 of that. Really fun theatrical experience. I didn't know about the Spider-Mans, different ones. Rewatching it, didn't play quite as well for me. Honestly, I probably would even though the numbers, whatever, I'd probably say like I can almost guarantee Brand New Day is going to like pull ahead of like No Way Home for me, just because there was some stuff in that I was like, I did not realize how many applause breaks there are in that movie. It's like really like egregiously like put in there, which is fine. I know it's like nitpicky stuff, but anyway, all that to say, enjoyed it. And yes, I hope they make a fifth one at some point. And I would much prefer they go with more of these kind of movies, like just kind of focused mainly on like one character as opposed to all the crossover stuff.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yep.
But anyway.
Nice. I rated it 4 stars. I would rank it number 2 under Homecoming, but tie it with No Way Home. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Something we didn't really discuss all that much is just we did, but just the personal story. That personal story of Peter. Like there were moments in this movie that just it broke my heart for him. And like that's like a level of pathos that it's not that I wouldn't expect it from this movie, but it was a very welcome surprise. So, yeah. So having said that, we're going to go ahead and go into spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm going to play a stinger here, or whatever I call it, the bumper for the spoiler talk. So if you want to skip around, check the show notes for timestamps. Again, those are at obsessiveviewer.com/OV512, as well as in the show notes and the description here. I'm going to play a bumper. When we come back, we're going to be spoiling Brand New Day.
Kizu, Kiskizu is out.
What the fuck do you say?
I stepped into a private trap back there.
Clever girl.
Do you want to take a leap of faith?
I'm afraid I can't do that.
That was longer than a heartbeat.
Yeah, say that again.
That was longer than a heartbeat.
Hey, tell me about it.
That was longer than...
Okay, we get the point.
Okay, so spoilers on for Spider-Man Brand New Day. So we don't need to really talk too much about it, but there are some things I wanted to touch on. In particular, one of the complaints I've seen, or one of the things that I've seen come up is the fact that you don't like something. Also, Evan brought up is that how does he make money and everything. And there was one thing that just when people say like, "Yo, he lives in New York City. Why is he getting Little Caesars?" And like, I get that. I totally get that. But and I know like a coworker,
he gets Little Caesars because there's a Little Caesars tie-in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like my headcanon, and like my coworker like corrected me on this, and I'm having her fired by HR. But she said like you can get cheap pizza in New York City. Like my whole thought is like, okay, it's showing that he's he's on his own. Like he gets the cheap Little Caesars, $5 hot and ready. But anyway, so yeah. What do you think of the product placement?
When you think of it in the context, because yes, you can get pizza cheaper in New York City than you can here, which is probably the only thing that's cheaper in New York City than it is here. But if we think about the physical nutritional resources that a person like Spider-Man burns, he might need a whole pie just as an afternoon snack.
That's
he could
true.
go get $1 slice, sure, and that's cheaper. That's not going to do much for him. Maybe he needs his whole hot and ready pie to keep him satiated. So
very, very good point. Yeah,
just a thought.
Yeah,
you can probably. You can probably get like. I understand there's a lot of pizza places in New York, so like I understand that, but yeah, Little Caesars would probably still be like, I don't know if they do $5 hot and readies, but like $5 would probably get you, like you said, maybe two slices of New York, New York pie or whatever. So I don't know. I don't care about that. I mean, if I were to like Blanchett product placement in MCU movies, I mean, it's just, it is and like, it is. It did remind me of the Michael Scott, saying, I'm going to get New York slicing.
Sbarro. Yeah.
Amazing.
I did appreciate, or I chuckled or smiled silently to myself when I saw the Bureau product placement. I thought that's a nice tie-in. That's cool. But speaking of $5 hot and ready and our talk about it, not being sexless and everything. I did want to mention this stupid joke. Like,
there's nothing sexier than Little Caesars.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. If they want to make a sexy like Spider-Man thing, like they could do a one-off Disney Plus special that ties in with another movie that's coming out this week and just have it be Spider-Man one night only and tie that in. But anyway,
Monica Barbaro as Black Cat.
There you go.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Really good.
These are ideas, man.
Yeah. But yeah. So what else should we talk about in spoilers? Yeah, the Ned and MJ of it all.
Yeah, that's probably the big one.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing for me, I mean, just to like out of the gate, like there's a specific point, like basically when Act 3 kicks in. But probably my favorite scene in the movie is when MJ brings Peter up to their apartment and like formally meets Ned. I know they met at the party, but then he's like guessing what he's using for spider fluid and basically correctly guesses it. And then she's like, in quotes, Lord of the Rings, and she's like sketching them. I'm like, that's like head and shoulders for me, like the best scene in this movie, like for me, just because that's like
100%.
I loved all the sitting around stuff. Yes.
Yeah. I guess I just wanted more sitting around. I wanted more kind of lazy Spider-Man. No, but just like that stuff, because I mean, that's the stuff that I think people really attach to with those first three movies, maybe more so than Ned friendship in Homecoming. But I mean, of course, obviously more the three of them in Far From Home and No Way Home. But regardless, like that was like my favorite scene. And then and this is just, I think more coincidence, but then he gets on the phone with Yelena and she's like, oh, she had a sister and like the Sarah Gray thing. And then we did that. And then I swear to God, I was like that whole third act. I was like, is this like a Spider-Man movie? Like he shows up and there's like that scene where he's doing the stretching thing, which tonally, normally I wouldn't care about him doing shtick, but that's like, they put that right in the middle of
it did feel weird.
Yeah.
It's like, can we just not, please, for the love of God, can we not do quippy stuff, because we're doing this like tragic backstory. Yeah. And here, Tremel Tilson is, well, of course we knew he was going to be the villain, but like is, you know, trying to like do this whole thing where he's like triggering all these pushes or whatever out of her.
Basically going to kill her. Yeah.
And that's why I was just like, tonally, I was just like, ugh, this sucks. And then it just kind of got to the point where I was just like, there's just like not enough Spider-Man in this. There's trying to set up the Jean Grey stuff. I get that she goes and she actually finally asks for consent later on to get into his head. And they have the Aunt May stuff. And I understand that's them bonding and all of that stuff. Like, that was the point for the movie for me where I was just sort of like, I just kind of got tired by that point because I was just like, and it was such a stark thing of like, again, like the three of them, like kind of what I wanted. And not that that's the only scene with them. That's not true. But like, you know, that was like kind of more what I was hoping the movie was going to be. And then it shifted into like all Jean Grey, all the antagonist backstory, all this stuff. And it was such a violent shift that was kind of just left me sour, especially being later on in the movie.
Yeah. And if they had tied Jean Grey more closely to Spider-Man just overall, I feel like it would have landed a lot better. So like, with the whole like Aunt May thing, like we get this like nice sweet moment with Peter and Jean Grey where he's like, you know, you have me, like you, like I'm your friend, we can be friends or whatever. And then she's on a bus, she's out of there. It's like, it doesn't.
And their like turn at the end to just to basically clarify what you're saying too. Like, like he takes the bullet for her, and then you know she's like. Whatever, like kind of all, he's like dying in her arms. I mean, he's not exactly dying, although she keeps him alive through his coma, I think somehow with her powers. And, and
she's like breathing for him.
Just that whole 180 thing. Look, I get that this is not the only superhero movie where this has happened, where, you know, the hero and villain at the very end. Like, of course I understand that. It felt really quick and really jarring to me, especially given the evil stuff she does in this movie, which I know we'll talk about too. But.
Andy, any thoughts? On that.
Yeah, well, I guess I felt like I guess I don't entirely understand the because Brent, you're not the only person I've heard make that complaint about the third act. A lot of people have said that about how it kind of goes full bore on Jean Grey, plotty, big picture stuff and gets away from the Michelle MJ and Ned stuff. And I guess to me, it's like, I mean, isn't that by and large kind of what we do in these movies? I mean, you have a villain in the movie, you have to do something with them. You've been building up all this time to that. And, I thought we got a lot of good MJ and Ned stuff throughout the movie. I thought that was one of the movie's strengths was how much it dedicated to that. And honestly, maybe this is a hot take. I was kind of surprised the movie wasn't more action heavy because there is so much kind of standing around and talking in offices or pouring hearts out to one another. That I was more than ready by the time we got to that point in the film to kind of go, okay, we got to go do big villain stuff. And I guess I wonder, if it hadn't been Jean Grey, let's say the movie was otherwise the same, with a character of similar powers or whatever, I guess I kind of wonder how much people would have issue with that third act turn into antagonist focus, because if it was just a Spider-Man villain, even a very powerful Spider-Man villain, it's like, okay, we did a lot of character stuff with Peter and MJ, Peter and Ned, and we have to finish the movie. We have to resolve the conflict. So I guess, there's an argument, especially based on the previous three movies, where Ned and MJ are generally a little bit more present in the third act by virtue of the fact that they are Peter's closest friends, but they're not in this. No. They're totally removed from his life almost. And his involvement with them in this movie is almost completely incidental. I guess I didn't really mind that because of the context of their relationship in this movie. It was it makes sense. He would have to kind of remove himself from that and go do shit with the lingering threat.
Here's a potential hot take or thought.
That's what we're here for, baby.
I know,
right?
Hot
takes.
Yes. So
what's your favorite hot and ready topping, guys?
Pepperoni, but
that's Spideroni. So
no, nice.
Spideroni.
But
Peteroni.
So I agree about the third act having it needs that's the formula now. That's the goal now.
What's going on?
What's going on?
But one of the things that Evan mentioned to us in his curmudgeonly way of dissing the movie was that he referred to Jean Grey, her whole taking freezing whatever it was, she froze New York or whatever with her mind, froze him in place. He referred to it as a small void, from Thunderbolts. And my question, my hot take is, are superhero movies, especially in the MCU, especially these last two, with Thunderbolts and this, are they now replacing the trope of the blue beam in the sky with just mass citywide danger in terms of freezing everyone or having
disappearing everyone.
Disappearing everyone. The blip and
whatever
Galactus.
She does in WandaVision.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever I like that show, but I forget the name of it. But what she does with effectively the dome. I will say I hadn't read Evan's review before seeing the movie, but it did remind me of Thunderbolts a little bit, especially with the presence of Yelena, who, by the way, I know I talk about all this, I don't like all this crossover stuff. I didn't have a problem with her in this. I think it's fun to have her say, I actually like the small potato stuff. Yeah. And I actually referenced it in my review because it's that's kind of more what I was I want to see the small potatoes, but regardless, meaning, sorry, small potatoes plot wise, not anyway. Right. It's just so it's, I think just with like the I don't, is it a sonic blast or I don't know what, some kind of psychic wave thing where everyone's in suspended because they show MJ has like a tear or whatever. So like everyone's kind of, they just basically can't move, which that was a weird thing too, because why does the blast not, at least I don't think it affects Spider-Man. There might be a reason why, and I forget.
Well, I don't know that they really explain it, but they do establish earlier in the movie that she can't use her powers on him, or she kind of can, but he has the ability to fight back. And I don't know if that's because spider sense, or what. But yeah, they don't really give an answer, but they do kind of establish early on that he is, at least to a degree, impervious to it.
Yeah. So
that's fair enough. That wasn't a huge like thing. I was curious because they go out of their way to set this up, the specific scene with the guy in the helicopter, and he figures out the 33-foot distance thing and all that stuff. So the guy's up in the helicopter. So the very next scene, and the point is like he needs to get to MJ. So. And they reveal this, of course, like later on in the following scene after. But he goes to MJ, and then they go on the rooftop that has the silver sign or whatever. So, and I understand like the deception and everything, but just so I understand technically, so what Jean Grey did is she hopped out of the guy in the helicopter, just went back to her own body, and then somehow got close enough to Jean Grey through someone else that she was able to hop into MJ's body before Peter showed up at the apartment. Do I have that right?
That's my...
I guess so, yeah.
That's my assumption. Like, it's... Because I feel like people might misconstrue it as like, oh, she's now trapped in the helicopter and that's how she's held captive. But I think you're right that she just
I misconstrued that the first time I watched the movie.
Yeah. And so,
I was like, oh, she's just trapped up there. But I understand she can just hang up the phone, the proverbial phone, go back to her own body, and then, and that's fine. And I understand that. But here's my thing. And this is where I get into the whole Jean Grey stuff. It's like, if she can do that, she can beat Peter back psychically or whatever, meaning she can go through other people and get to MJ. Why isn't she just going to Tramel's home? And why is she even bothering with Spider-Man? I mean, it's said multiple times that she's curious about his powers and why he can push her out. But I'm like, she's so insanely powerful. If her thing is Sarah and what's behind the vault and all that stuff, it's like, there's got to be easier ways to do this, to not have to deal with this Peter Parker guy. But I know it's boring, and because it's so much fun, Jan, and all that, I get it.
Right. I think my rationale for it, or my excuse I would make for it, is just she's in a place of extreme emotional, like, duress with that. Like, she's in a fragile emotional state, so that's... I think it's just human error or mutant error, I guess, that she doesn't think that clearly for that. But to your point,
and she's pissed off that he figured out her jumping. So in defense of basically what you're saying, and like, just it does become more vindictive.
And just a slight like rationalization or whatever of the jumping thing. Like, I would say that what you said is that, you know, she beat Spider-Man back to MJ, like, and everything. Like, my read of that, like, on reflection of it, is like, we don't know when she jumped into MJ. Like, it could have been like while they were on their way there, but we can talk about that. The obsession scene, basically.
Well, I do think they say, sorry, not to like pick you apart, but
you're fine.
I think MJ says when she comes back after that scene, I think she says, 1 minute I was standing in my apartment and the next I was falling off a roof. So she did get grabbed before they left.
I will go ahead and make a note for the timestamp that this is when I look like a fucking idiot.
I'm leaving. See you guys.
Well, good.
I'm out.
The very, like, there are two moments in this movie that just like shattered me, and it's the apartment scene when he sees her with her boyfriend and he's like leaving. Like, that was like, that broke my heart for him so much. And also, we didn't really talk about the 4-year time jump that I was blown away by. Like, I was surprised when we get that scene where he's watching like the Instagram or whatever of Ned, and he's like, oh, we're graduating. It's like, holy fuck. Okay. Okay. But, the second scene is that kiss scene with Jean, like
Yeah.
that, like
It's a tough one.
yeah. And it was like when it was happening, I was like, oh no. Like it was one of those, like, I know what's coming. I don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen. And like, it was really effective. It was really like shocking to me. Yeah. So any thoughts on that? Yeah. Any thoughts on the makeout sesh, on the roof?
I thought it was a really lovely scene. I thought that was, one of several really great intimate scenes. And yeah, I think it's, I don't know that it's necessarily like you can see it coming, like you said, like you kind of have that sense of like, well, this can't be the resolution to this whole arc. But
I mean, they
still
disguise it really well. Like they do. Yeah, it wasn't like a thing where I was like, "Oh, I see what's coming. I know what they're doing." It was more like "Oh no, this is very likely a bait and switch, and this is
it's
not
too early in the movie."
Yeah.
Well, but I loved that. I mean, I guess I don't entirely know how Jean knew all this. Does she have access to people's memories? Yeah, she does. When she takes over their body.
The times that MJ had seen Spider-Man.
Yeah. So that was, I thought that was a really good way to kind of disguise it by, have referencing all of these things that really only MJ should know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool too for her to say, man, there was really nothing, you're not in here at all.
Yeah.
It's really levels of cruelty, that scene. And I think like, they're really good in that, but Tom Holland and Zendaya are very good in that scene. Now, of course, like there's different things with it and, in her body and everything. So yeah, no, that was a great scene. And that, I was like, oh my God, when she's like, hold her, Peter. I'm like,
yes.
Oh my God. Because I actually did think that she was stuck in the helicopter guy. Like I forgot. You have to really like remember. Yeah. Oh yeah, she can go back.
And I think that's the intention, to make you think that.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good bait and switch. Like I think it's a good twist.
Yeah. I didn't think it was like whatever. It's a superhero movie, like whatever. And I thought it set up a scene very well. I think you're talking about like people's reaction to stuff. Like I think people are kind of pearl clutching with like, she went into all these people's bodies and she made them get run over. It's like, have you seen a villain in a superhero movie? Like, that sucks. But like,
well, it's like, everybody's
half the univerce away. It's just kind of
everybody loves Loki. And he's a murderer, Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's one thing. That's not the problem I have with the Jean Grey part of it. I think she is angry, troubled, and vindictive, I think, for so I would buy that she would mess with him in that way, and it's cruel, but I'm not her. I'm not a super villain yet. This is my villain origin story. But but that's one thing that I would say I don't agree with. That's not my problem with the Jean Grey stuff.
Yeah.
Because she does bad stuff in Dark Phoenix, and I know that's more in the comic stuff, but then The Last Stand. Jean Grey can mess some stuff up.
That's my biggest concern going forward is, like, I swear to God, if we have to go through another Dark Phoenix saga with this iteration of Jean Grey, like it will make me question whether or not I even want to follow this universe anymore. Like, because it's
I don't love your odds, friend. I'll tell you, because they're already setting her up as like really the first recast X-Men in the MCU, I think.
Suggesting that she's going to be very pivotal to
suggesting
the events.
That she's going to, upstate New York, probably to, Xavier's school. Yeah. Not exactly, but I'm sure they're not implying that either.
But I could also see, Marvel has been known to, shy away from stuff that has been done before. With Spider-Man, they never even introduced Uncle Ben, stuff like that. They're like, we don't want to do the same thing over and over. So I could see it being that, like, we just want to have Jean Grey be central to our story and be central to the X-Men, but not be the Dark Phoenix, because Jean Grey has a lot of comic history outside of her Dark Phoenix stuff.
You wouldn't think it from the live action stuff. Yeah, we should probably wind down this review because we didn't even touch on the Hulk or really Punisher and all that. But I will say, just rapid fire with that, I thought Mark Ruffalo was good. I liked him in it. I liked the Hulk scene. I thought that was really fun, and it was cool to actually see the Hulk again, proper. And I liked the way the whole thing with Punisher interacted with there. But the thing that I really appreciated about two things about those, not cameos, but those supporting characters in this movie, is that it didn't feel to me like one of my main concerns is that I was like, okay, they cast Punisher, and now they've got Bruce Banner in it. Like, are they going to have another mentor mentee kind of thing? Because the whole Home trilogy was older superpowered people or older people guiding
Iron
him.
Man, and then Mysterio and Nick Fury, and then other Spider-Man.
Yeah, and even Doctor Strange. But here I appreciate that this is more mature. It's not like they're not guiding him or anything. In fact, as kind of neutered as Punisher is, from my understanding, I do, and as heavy-handed as this is, I do appreciate the way that it he is there to function as I can't remember the exact line, but he's I'm not someone you need to become. Like, if I had my family out there, I would be with them, no matter what. Having that be the kind of cautionary tale. And so I kind of like that change up, and I think that they fit into this movie well. So
yeah, I agree with that. I feel the same way about Punisher. I like that they kind of used him as a dark reflection of what could happen to Peter Parker. I also like that the Hulk, is basically, he's kind of going through the same thing that Peter is in this movie, and kind of fighting off this other side of himself, and being terrified of what that might do to him, succumbing to that. I also really liked that, he kind of, stuck his finger in Peter's chest about the whole mutant inhibitor. He was like, you're asking for a technology that could basically, suppress any powers. Yeah. You realize what that could do, right? Of course, Peter's so busy in his A plot that he's kind of doesn't have all the time to absorb it. But it was a really cool moment of Banner isn't just a scientific genius. He also sees the kind of moral and social implications of the stuff that they do with their technology. As
he should, because he is he was the co-parent for Ultron.
Yeah, right. So he's been through that.
Yeah.
Well, see, the inhibitor thing too, for me, is that felt more to me, and I get that it is germane to the plot. I'm not trying to say they really stretch this, but it does set up X-Men plots.
For sure.
It does.
Yeah.
So it's
I think that that technology is going to wind up in the hands of somebody else. What I hope, and I don't hold that against this movie right now, but retrospectively, it could become a problem with this movie if Peter does not have some direct responsibility or relationship with this down the line. If they set up, basically, Peter invented this tech that's going to kill mutants or eliminate mutants. And then if they just kind of use that willy-nilly later on in the movies, and Peter never has any kind of answer for it or doesn't actively work against it or something like that, I think that's a problem. I think that,
agree.
that's the franchise kind of missing a massive issue with its own character.
Yeah. And I know I've been bringing up Evan a lot. He's not here, but that was
everywhere I go. I see him
everywhere I go. But no, one of his complaints was that he was upset that Peter just up and just created the a mutant genocide essentially, and I think that it works in this movie with the caveat that I agree with you, Andy, that it should. Hopefully it does have some kind of Peter ties into it later, but I think that it works here not as a it works here as an accidental creation, because in this time in the MCU, presumably we don't know, like no one knows about mutants. They just know Jean Grey.
Right.
They just know that there's not like even Banner saying like, the implications of this. He doesn't have that context of, oh, there's going to be an entire like evolution of people that
a race of people basically.
Yeah. So I think that it was interesting that they kind of introduced that here, and I think that I do hope that it kind of sprawls into X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be down if they want to frame these X-Men in the MCU as having a pretty direct relationship with Spider-Man. Like, I think that would be cool. I mean, certainly setting up your first X-Man in a Spider-Man movie lends itself to that. So, and he is, in the comics, he's pretty closely tied to the X-Men because he is a mutant and because he understands their struggles and stuff. So,
and speaking of that, like, and again, as I said, like 20 minutes ago, we should start winding down, but the organic webbing, the organic webs and the DNA thing, that was one thing that I don't ding the movie for this, but I do feel like that is, I don't want to say it's stretching like the comic book logic or anything, but it feels like a lazy comic book logic that for a character like, I don't even mind that we've never seen, his, origin or anything, like that's fine. But having it be like just as base level as like, oh, your arachnid DNA is
your
now
hormones went up, therefore you have other powers now. Yeah. It's a little, it is basic. It feels kind of reductive for the science-y nature of it.
Yeah. And I can't help but think that and I don't think that this is the case, but it feels like an extension of that like streaming era movie making thing where it's like Netflix has infamously like directed their filmmakers to be like, you need to have reminders of the plot.
Second screen viewing, they call it.
Yes.
Because they're anticipating. Yes.
I don't want that to. No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't want that concept to exist.
Yeah.
I know you're right. I'm just kidding.
The assumption that people are going to be on their phones the entire time.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yep. That's a thing, and I know that companies like Netflix account for it. I would say one other quick thing with Tramell Tillman, I thought was like good here in terms of like new faces. I'm not expecting him anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like in the MCU or anything. And I know he just like at the end of this, he's just like, oh well, Elena's looking for him.
Yeah.
But I do have to make a really bad joke that I had in my notes. When Peter first shows up to Department of Damage Control and he introduces himself and all this stuff, I wanted him to be like, she tried to get inside of my mind. And I wanted Tramell Tillman to say, and you must be out of yours. from the last Mission Impossible one.
Oh,
such a great line in that one. But it was like, it was fun to see him here. And I did think of the work-life balance thing that this movie is obviously going for, because Peter's like very much a workaholic in the beginning. Did remind me of Severance. I don't think that's why they cast him necessarily, except that he's just a familiar face from the show. But he was fun. It's like one of those ones. It's like, he was fun in this. I have no idea if he'll ever pop up in an MC movie again. We'll see.
Yep. Any other final thoughts on Brand New Day, organic webbing? I thought that was cool. I liked the struggling to, control it. That was neat. Like, even when he's swinging with MJ and he's like webs shoot or webs stop and everything.
Talking himself through it.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of sweet.
I thought they did it well. As a ride or die mechanical web shooters fan, I appreciated the way they introduced this organic webbing concept and justified it. Yeah. I think my final note, I think I'm the only one in this chat who gives a shit, but I thought the costume looked fucking incredible.
I did too.
And I loved that in some scenes and some lighting, you could actually see his eyes through the lenses. That was such a nice little touch. Just add that extra little bit of emotionality from Holland's performance in it.
I agree, and I'm someone who doesn't like I don't give a shit about the costume. Like I've never been like, oh, that costume looks terrible or anything. But there is this there is this interesting meld to the costuming in this movie that with his costume, we're coming off of, almost like 7 or however, like a decade really of Tom Holland being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Where a lot of it's either the homemade costume or it's the Stark Tech costume, and having this be this kind of just it has that feel of he's wearing a costume. There's it feels like fabric-y.
Oh yeah, I mean it has all the same ridges and bumps in that my Spider-Man morph suit that I bought in high school has. It has seams everywhere you'd expect. The mask, you can see where it comes down over the collar of the suit and kind of overlaps and bumps out. I'm like, that's just great. I just love the tactility of it, because I don't think, I mean, even obviously in the Sam Raimi films, they had a practical suit in a lot of the shots. It still is very obviously not a suit that any teenager or young adult in poverty could build or reasonably get on and off on their own.
Yep.
And this felt just a little a step further of okay, this, I could actually see him throwing this on and pulling it off. And when he takes his mask off, it actually feels like he's taking his mask off and not they're just removing the CGI head.
Right. Yep.
Even if they are.
or nanotech too.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
I hope we're over the hill on nanotech in the MCU.
Yeah, same here.
I'm so sick of it.
Yep. Final thing. I know. Last scene and post-credit scene. There's not a mid-credit scene. The last scene, there's some confusion over it, if whether or not Ned has remembered Peter because of Jean or because of the handshake or what. There's a theory that, when they do the handshake at the end of No Way Home, that he's wearing the Sorcerer Supreme ring or whatever, and that maybe he cast a spell with that accidentally. I like that. I don't care one way or the other if it's Jean doing it or whatever. But what'd you make of that final scene and the post-credit scene?
Well, I didn't really have this. Yeah, I didn't really have an issue with it. I thought, it was a little bit odd. Immediately walking out of the movie, my initial reaction was it seems weird that, they go to all these lengths in the movie to have MJ say, you don't exist in my head, you're not there. But then I guess muscle memory pulls it out of Ned and he can remember. But then I realized, in Ned's previous scene in the movie, which I think is right before the big third act Jean Grey stuff, MJ tells Ned that Spider-Man's name is Peter.
Yeah.
And so I could also see a reading of that scene where he does the handshake. He's thinking, why is this guy being so chummy with me? Why are we doing a funny handshake? And then he's like, oh, Peter.
Yeah.
Peter. I just found out Spider-Man is Peter. Holy shit.
That's what I took it as, is that he connected those two dots, that Spider-Man and Peter are the same, but not that he remembers. That's what I didn't know. And I didn't know if they were trying to do a bros before hoes, that's their version of kissing on the rooftop or upside down. I don't know. And then the post-credit thing, I don't know or care why Spider-Man's in space. I like the actual end credits of this.
Yeah, it's just
New York.
It's just scenery, New York scenery.
Steve Lacy song. Not new for this movie, but I mean, it came out this year. So it's a weird thing that I actually liked that the credits were kind of actually their own. The MCU never really has end credits that are actual shots of things.
Oh, absolutely.
Stuff flying. It was just fine for these movies. But I thought that was actually kind of a nice little, I don't know, again, feeling City's a character, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a neat touch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. Post-credit scene, no clue. Don't really care.
I thought it was weirdly confusing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So.
I'm surprised it didn't set up Doomsday more explicitly.
Same.
The way that I don't care either.
Yeah. The way that I would have thought that it would have been more tied to that, especially with Fantastic Four tying to it. So
yeah.
Seriously.
I understand the post-credit sequences and their implications a third of the time anyway.
Yeah.
So, chuck this on the 66% of the ones I don't understand anyway.
You were really big on Harry Styles at the end of Eternals.
Yes.
Oh God, which one was that at the end of?
That was Eternals, I think.
Yeah.
Oh God, well,
He shows up as Thanos' brother, who's in the comics basically a rapist.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, that's our review of Spider-Man Brand New Day.
a rapist is the very last word of our review. Thanks, Andy.
Yes. So yeah, are you guys still good for the secondary review? It can be brief.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a ton to say. But
I really don't either. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and go into a secondary review, non-spoilers, of the Dink. But before we do that, I just want to say that you can follow Brent and Andy on Letterboxd at Awake in the Dark and Dandible, which is like mandible with a D. Both of those respectively. Yes. And yeah, so before we get to the secondary review of the Dink, I have this little spiel that I'm going to read. Before we get to our secondary review, I want to take a quick moment to remind you that if you like the show, please take a moment to follow us on social media and subscribe to and rate the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Music, or whatever your preferred podcast app is. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube as well, where I'm posting more video stuff and video versions of this. And we have a merch store up on TeePublic where you can buy Obsessive Viewer Podcast branded apparel, stickers, mugs, bags, hats, and more. Check the show notes for the link to that store, and of course also the link to my Amazon wish list if you want to get me presents. So having said that, now we're going to get back to the show.
They tell me I view obsessively.
Our secondary review tonight is for The Dink, which is available to stream on Apple TV. Release date was July 24th, 2026, and it stars Jake Johnson, Ed Harris, Aaron Chen, and Mary Steenburgen. Directed by Josh Greenbaum and written by Sean Clements. The premise, according to IMDb, is a washed-up tennis pro tries to save a club by reluctantly playing pickleball to earn his father's respect. So all three of us have watched this, and I'll just kind of get us kicked off in a non-spoiler review. Obviously, it's fine. It's perfectly serviceable as a comedy. Jake Johnson has that Jake Johnson charisma that I think works pretty well. I kind of at most of the time in this movie, I found it to be kind of an interesting mix of like a more grounded version of like Happy Gilmore and Hot Rod. And when it's like that, it finds its groove a little bit, but I think that there are moments that it just kind of tries to be more sincere, and that kind of just bogs it down a little bit. What did you guys think of The Dink?
It's okay. I thought it was okay. This is not like generally really the kind of movie I seek out. I like Jake Johnson a lot. He's good in most things, even when the movie or show around him is not as good. I thought I was a little surprised. I guess I haven't seen Mary Steenburgen in that many things, but I thought she was kind of awful in this.
Oh, interesting.
Like I thought her deliveries were so flat. And you know, Jake is kind of a character or an actor who he plays characters who wear their hearts on their sleeves, and he's very emotive in that kind of like, I don't know, beat puppy sort of way sometimes. And it just contrasted with her, who was very, I thought, kind of stiff. And yeah, I don't know. I thought some of the tennis pickleball banter was kind of funny. And the sort of the way the movie played with, like, I guess just the dynamics of that, of like, oh, pickleball's not a real sport, tennis is a real sport, was kind of fun. But yeah, I thought similarly to you that when the movie tries to be really sincere, it kind of falls flat.
Yeah, I agree. And it pains me to say this because I do love Mary Steenburgen, but I agree. There's something about her delivery and a lot of the lines that felt very, not insincere, but it felt very, like you said, kind of like stilted or just kind of off. Like it didn't feel like, it didn't feel like he was almost in the role too much. Yeah,
almost in some scenes, like she didn't quite have a read on what the scene was, and she was just saying her lines. So I don't know.
Yeah, Brent, what did you think of the Dink?
Yeah, I mean, going into it, like pretty obvious, like a sports comedy. I don't know if this is the first pickleball movie like out there, but it's probably the one that they would probably try to make this as quickly as possible because pickleball is really big amongst boomers. Yeah. My dad plays a ton of pickleball. He played tennis for decades, and you know, he's kind of switched to pickleball and he's really enjoyed it. So they don't have an Apple TV, so I don't know if they're going to be able to see this. So I don't know. That's kind of a bummer, but not that it's like an amazing movie, but it would probably be, they have like the kitchen jokes alone. I think he would get a lot of mileage out of. So yeah, going into this kind of figured like sports comedy kind of thing. Yes, was definitely getting Happy Gilmore at the outset. It really even some Billy Madison too, with the Seeking Dad's Approval, going back to basics sort of stuff. So kind of dealing with the mid 90s Adam Sandler formula. And then Dodgeball was definitely what I was thinking of.
Yes, absolutely.
Not least of which because Ben Stiller and Christine Taylor are in this in different scenes, which I don't know if they're still married. I think they're separated, but then like Ben Stiller co-produced this movie and she's in it. So I have no idea, but who knows? That's a whole other podcast, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, so like the sports comedy stuff, I think is fine. Again, like you mentioned, you know, Andy, like Jake Johnson is very much in his wheelhouse, in his, you know, in his lane here. The thing that's weird about this movie to me is just where it chooses to go. I agree that the sentimental stuff doesn't work, or the more like romantic stuff doesn't work, but like they spend quite a bit of time on it too.
Yes.
And it's like weird, like how much disproportionate amount of time. I didn't think Mary Steenburgen was bad in this, but like they try to set up a romantic thing between like these two characters.
Yeah.
And then they kind of just, I don't want to spoil things for the Dink, but like they kind of, let's just say they just ditch that storyline. And it's like, it's such a weird thing. I don't know, this might be a total tangent or have nothing to do with anything, but Chloe Fineman is in this movie in the first 10 minutes. She is third credited at the end in this. And I wonder if there was some other thing with this where they tried to make some love triangle thing happen or something. Yeah. Because she is in this almost like she's in basically one or two scenes in the very beginning and that's it. She's an ex-girlfriend and they say that. Yeah. But like, I wonder if there was something else and then they go hard into this other romantic storyline. It just, that's like the main thing about this movie. It's really bizarre because all of the other stuff, like of course there's a big game at the end and cameos. A lot of Happy Gilmore 2 actually in this. Not nearly as bad with like weird effects, but definitely cameos and people who are famous who can't act.
I will say this, we're not going to spoil who cameos in it, especially at the end, but if it's a movie that is related to tennis in some capacity, you know who's going to like it. But to answer your question, according to people.com, Christine Taylor and Ben Stiller separated in 2017 after 17 years of marriage, but rekindled their romance during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Wow. Well, see, pickleball is going to really bring them back together.
Yes.
I don't know Stiller's involvement to this. He plays a doctor in it. And he's trying to, I actually kind of like his thing about pitching this sticky wickets or whatever.
Yes.
Sticky honey.
Sticky honey,
site. And, I actually kind of, I thought that was funny. And again, I don't know. I think he just was like, well, we got to do a pickleball comedy. Let's just do it. Like on paper, I have nothing against this. I just think it spends its time in weird ways. It just definitely needed a better script, not in terms of jokes, but just in terms of like
structure,
the structure. Yeah, really.
And that like potential romance subplot, it did feel like very, not even forced, but it felt like it was a weird like second act thing. Like it's like they needed to fill time for the second act, and I appreciate how that ends up, but it also doesn't, like you said, it doesn't really play into anything really in the last third of the movie, whether it be another relationship or like a reflection of where he is in his life or whatever. But at the end of the day, it just kind of feels like it kind of felt like, oh, okay, well, you know, Hello, my name is Doris was good. So let's kind of use something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it felt like they were like going for something and then they just ditch it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how else to say it. It's just like it's just odd. But yeah, and this is the guy who directed Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar, and then Strays, movies that I have very disparate feelings about. I hated Strays and I love Barb and Star.
Yeah, same.
So like I guess this is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
For me, it was perfectly serviceable, but forgettable. Like I'm not going to remember this. Yeah.
I didn't realize that Greenbaum, was directing the new Spaceballs movie until I looked him up for this podcast. Yeah,
wow.
I also didn't realize that Mel Brooks wasn't directing it.
Same,
and he didn't direct or write it, which is a little concerning, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Well, he's also like almost 100.
Yeah, he's super fucking old.
Yeah.
But he's been such a driving force behind the movie that I was a little surprised he doesn't have a writing credit.
Yeah. I think he might be 100. Didn't he just...
He might be.
Yeah, he turned 100 years old on June 28th.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know they did that documentary, the 99-year-old man or whatever, which I do need to watch. But so anyway, I mean, this kind of is what it is. Aaron Chan is a fun. For some reason, he has a weird thing where the whole bit about his sexual fixation with objects was not that funny.
No.
But do either of you guys watch Fisk at all? It's an Australian comedy.
No.
He's from that, that's where I know him from. And he's just like he looks the same way with like the weird bangs and like is effectively the same character.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of like a funny, quirky presence here. Not reinventing the wheel in this movie at all. But I thought it was just, I was like, oh, okay. That's the guy from the secretary from Fisk.
That was another portion of it that just, it felt like that was emulating Hot Rod. Like it feels like this whole movie is like emulating other like successful comedies. And with that sexualizing of objects and everything like that and this isn't really like a spoiler or anything, but for that to be called back at the end of the movie, it wasn't established hard enough, early enough. Like, I was like, wait, what? Oh, that's the same movie that I've been watching for the last hour and a half. Okay, sure.
Yeah, not a successful callback then.
Yeah. Like, they should have dumped the second act romance stuff and had his romance storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe be okay with that. I don't know. I do love that this movie, of course, like all the Apple product placement. And I love the idea that, what do they say in movies that, this person's they're not a bad guy, or they only protagonists can use Apple or iPhones. Like villains can't use iPhones. I was like, so what does that say if you're sending an Apple playlist? It must mean that if you then you're not going to turn out to be a bad person. Yeah. But if you send a Spotify playlist in an Apple TV movie, then that's how you know they're secretly a bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. That's the only thing I got for this movie.
I don't really have much else to say about it. It is what it is. It just kind of feels...
My dad says it is what it is all the time. So that is a wonderful... I appreciate the tribute to my dad.
I've got a surprise for you, Brent. It's as good a time as any to break the news to you, son.
You're my dad?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right on. I like it.
Any other thoughts on the Dink? And like last scene and post credit, there's no post credit scene though.
Setting up the Dink universe.
Yes.
the Dinkiverse. There is he does have AirPods, and they have like the silhouetted credits, and they have like AirPods.
Oh yeah.
He has AirPods on one of the shots. It's fine. I get that Apple products are everywhere. I just think it is funny. They are like, and everyone has iPhones. That's not what I'm worried about. But it's like no one sends Apple Music playlists. I mean,
Oh yeah. My big complaint was there was no Little Caesars anywhere in this movie, so
true.
I can't. Yeah. So, what did you guys rate the Dink on Letterboxd? And final thoughts on it.
2.5 out of 5. I thought it was fine. I wasn't angry at it, but I wasn't really impressed by it at any point. I thought Jake Johnson was fun doing his thing as he usually is, but beyond that, I was kind of like,
yeah, same. Brent?
Yeah, 2.5 for me as well.
Nice.
Send it to your pickleball playing person in your life, because they'll probably enjoy the kitchen jokes and the things about that. But beyond that, kind of empty calories beyond that for me.
Absolutely. I rated it 3 stars without a heart, and I might drop it down to 2.5 just because it's been a few days since I've seen it, and like I'm struggling to find things to talk about with it. I will say that I live very, very close to a pickleball court called the Pickler. And like I was looking it up and I was like, it'd be interesting. Like, just throw it in there as a hobby. You can join the Pickler starting at $99 a month. No, I'm not.
Wow.
I'm not going to do that. But it's interesting.
You almost set up a promo for them.
I know, yeah.
And then you're like, fuck that.
I'm not going to do that.
That's way too.
But I will say they do have free pickleball 101 classes to get you on the court fast. No experience or equipment needed. So,
that's literally like a digital flyer from this movie. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, that does it for our review of The Dink. It is streaming on Apple TV or Apple TV Plus. I don't know if they've made the change to drop the plus. It's cleaner. But
they have, by the way.
Oh, they have.
It's just Apple TV now.
Nice. Okay, so Apple TV, it's streaming on there. That'll do it for this week's episode. Thank you guys, Andy and Brent, for joining me for this week's episode. If you could tell people where they can find you online and what you got coming up on, awakeinthedark.com and oddtrilogies.com, again, respectively.
Thanks for having me on again, Matt. It's always a pleasure. You can find us at oddtrilogies.com. This month we've got 3 trilogies that were kind of just ones for us. They were not really tied into anything coming out or anything, just stuff we've been interested for a long time. One of them, the first one being, it was just last weekend, our Millennium Hamlet trilogy, which featured the 1990, 1996, and 2000s adaptations of Hamlet. And then our middle episode in August features Brent. It is the James Dean trilogy, in which we talk about the 3 starring roles of Hoosier legend James Dean. And then our final one for the month is one that has kind of been on our list for a long time because it features one of Logan's favorite films. It's The Rise of Makoto Shinkai, an anime filmmaker. And so it's his big film, Your Name, and then his 2 follow-ups, Weathering with You and Suzume.
Nice. Okay, nice. I really liked Suzume. I don't think I saw Weathering with You, and I haven't seen Your Name, but I'll have to.
You should definitely watch Your Name. I think it's easily his strongest, and it's
what I've heard.
Really, really affecting.
Nice, very nice. And you can follow Andy on Letterboxd at Dandable. Brent, what about you?
I need to catch up with Your Name as well, and I believe they're doing like a 4K restoration for a 10-year anniversary or something.
Oh, nice!
So that'll be,
and it's coming to Can, I think.
Oh,
in a couple weeks.
Oh, I think
I think we might be getting it, or one of like AMC or something. So either way, I need to catch up with that movie, whether I see it in theaters or at home. But awakeinthedark.com. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, Letterboxd, Instagram, whole thing. Just have weekly reviews coming up, and then the James Dean one. But that'll be a fun one. That was good, and hoping to be back on Odd Trilogies again sometime. I've already pitched another episode. Which I have no idea if that'll happen, but if it does, it'll be a lot of fun. I think anyway.
I am still going to work hard at a Clueless related one. I mean, even if it's just, watching Clueless 3 times,
Yeah.
think, that would work.
It's not been done before, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. All right. And of course, you can follow Brent on Letterboxd at Awake in the Dark. And that will do it for this week's episode of The Obsessive Viewer. As always, thank you so much for listening. And thank you guys for joining me. Brent, I'll see you soon on the podcast. Andy, apparently I'll see you in another 8 months on the podcast.
I'll try to make it sooner than that.
Yes. But yeah, make sure to follow the show on social media and subscribe to the podcast on your preferred podcast app. Also, check out our other shows, Tower Junkies, a Stephen King podcast, and Anthology, the Twilight Zone and Classic Sci-Fi. Those podcasts are available everywhere. They're a little dormant now, but eventually I'll come back to it. Next week on the show, the plan is to review One Night Only and The Glass House, I think. So until then, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. And now, enjoy this short clip from a recent Patreon exclusive episode. For the full episode and more Patreon exclusive content, sign up at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer. Because he knows that if Terry is able to kill someone, if he is putting lead in the flesh of another man, like he says, he's going to be lost forever. He's probably going to die. And he even says, this is what Johnny Friendly wants. This is exactly what he wants. He wants you to act out. What you need to do is go to the police, and you need to, come clean and do this the right way. And it's just in that moment of these two characters, again, Father Barry being this beacon of good. This, like I said in my Letterboxd review or blurb, he's this beacon. He embodies the defiant light in a play cast in the darkness of mob rule. So that is the unchanging thing about Father Barry. He is constantly trying to be the moral center for this community, and he's trying to bring that morality into play in a world where it is greatly diminished by the mob that rules the community. This podcast was produced and edited by me, Matt Hurt. If you want to connect, you can email me at matt@obsessiveviewer.com. For more information and a full archive of our episodes, show notes, and spin-off podcasts, visit obsessiveviewer.com. Our theme song is A Little Mad Sometimes by As Good As It Gets. For more of their music, check them out on Spotify and Bandcamp. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.